You had asked her like why is she limited to only focusing on one book rather than exploiting other books and or religions. So that's where I was asking, like, do we all have the same understanding about how the world became to be, or how we came to be in this flesh, in this world?
Yeah. So I was encouraging that generally everybody, for any subject, they research and read so many books on maths, on geography, on history. But then I was saying that when it comes to God and how to live and serve God, then we carry this idea that I can only read one book. She was expressing, I think, from a Christian perspective.
Yeah.
And I was saying also it comes with this fear that if I read another book, she can explain what's that fear. Generally, because it's either you will make it to heaven or you go to hell. So people are afraid of that repercussion because they think we've been taught that the only way is according to that scripture that we are learning.
Okay.
So to understand the history of man and what the universe is, then it would necessitate that we consult all books that discuss the subject of man and the universe and history. So in that way, I am encouraging.
Okay, I understand you, but from my own view, it's sort of like if we have sort of different understanding of how we came to be, because like the Christian community believes in that like Adam was the first person to be here on earth, as in here on in this world, right? And you were talking about something else. So I'm like, if we don't have really different understandings about such, like, won't that bring more confusion into someone when they read one book and they hear that Adam was the first person to be here on earth, then they read another book, they are told something that is totally different from what they have read, and they go to another religion, they are told something that is different. And
I understand that. Let me deal with that. So it's the nature of research to find different perspectives or viewpoints on a subject. So the sincere person who's trying to understand the subject from multiple perspectives will consult different, you could say, authoritative books. So even when it comes to do with the history of man on the planet, it should be open for humanity to check all the scriptures of the world, the books of knowledge. And then what you will find is that it creates a much bigger picture where it's not a matter of life and death, what you believe in terms of is this exactly how it happened, but one gets to understand ultimately it's not so much about who was here first or when, but it's a matter of what was their behavior that kept them in sin, away from God, or what's the behavior that took them towards God. So the details we cannot all fully confirm. We all accept them on faith, but consulting different books of faith will give us a broader idea.
So like in the Christian community, they say that sin came through Lucifer, him like deceiving the first womankind here on earth. So in terms of your belief, what would you say like was the origin of sin?
So in Bhagavad Gita or Krishna consciousness, sin is defined as that mentality which sees anything outside of God, or that desire to experience anything without consulting the will of God. So it's part of man's desire, as in we have some free will, ability to choose. So when we choose to try and enjoy separate from God, that is when our sinful life begins. And then different categories of sin are then explained, but mainly the origin of sin is ignorance of our position as servant of God.
Of God. Okay. Of God. So you trying to, from what I'm understanding, you are saying that sin originated from that self-will that we have been
the
given.
abuse of free will, yes.
Like, so you saying that like it started with the human being himself in having the ability to choose. That's how sin became to be in this world.
So it's basically two choices.
Okay.
We either choose to be subordinate, cooperating with God, or we choose to be independent and carve our own way.
Okay. So I have another question that follows.
Last question because we're running out of time.
Okay. I have another question that follows, which is, if we are saying that we have this self-will of doing sin, or we have the ability to choose, what would bring us to God, or to bring us to an understanding that we stop doing sin?
Beautiful question. So that is the facilitation of God himself.
Okay.
What God will do is that personally, from within, he's there in the heart of everyone as the friend, the witness and guide. He can inspire from within, and also externally, those who are pure servants of God, the saintly people, when they speak of the Lord and their experience and they witness to us, then we can be influenced to change. And also the Lord is present in his words of the different scriptures. When we encounter him there, then we can change our minds. And
okay, just one last question. Please, one last
question.
question.
One more.
One more last question.
You can also show the people around.
Please do.
Yeah. Then
okay, so my last question is, if you're saying that God himself is the one who changes our that willing of living sin, right, and which I also believe in, but what I think differs is the origin of sin, right? So my question is now, if
the Son of God is really doing its job on me.
Okay, so my question is, if God was the one who created everything, right, and I believe that that self-willing or the ability to choose is also a creation of God.
Yes.
Right. So, in other words, we're trying to say that sin itself was something that God might have, let me say, in course, might have planned in an understanding that, like, he wants to show his power, to reconcile himself, his people back to him, in a way. That's I'm just putting it in course.
I understand.
So,
that.
like, my question is, like, if God is the creator of everything, why do we think that we have that self-willing? And if God is the one who brings us back to himself, why do we think that we have a free will to choose what is wrong and what is right in the eyes of God?
So, because we are part of God, so we have the same qualities as God, but we have them in very small quantities.
Okay.
So just as God is independent, we have some independence also, minutely. So,
okay, so
meaning we can choose.
A follow-up question is on that independent. I think, like, if we are saying God is independent, right? What are we saying? Because if God is the overseer of everything, what is he independent from? Like, do we actually need to bring that word into?
When we say independent, we mean that he doesn't need to consult with anyone or anything. He's not under any law.
Yeah.
He is a free agent.
Yeah, but
so that's his independence, fully independent.
I understand that. But us now, we are under him, so we do not have that independence.
Yes. So our independence is in the area of choice. The parameters upon which we are playing in have been created by God. Just like you can't choose to have a bigger stomach than you already have.
Yeah.
It has a capacity, it fills up.
Yeah.
So, but you can choose how much you put in that stomach.
Okay.
you can choose if you go to class or not.
Okay.
But the fact that you have to get old, you can't choose not to get old. Okay. You can try to delay it.
Okay. So I think on my understanding.
So I wanted just to put this one last thing, is that God is interested in love.
Yeah.
And you cannot force someone to love you.
Exactly.
If he wanted forced love, he could have created us such that we just only choose him. Yeah. But he wants voluntary love. Yeah. So he has given us the ability not to give that love to him.
But that's...
And then he also loves to help us remember that actually we are happiest when we are trying to love him.
Yeah, but that's my question there. Like,